Hello, I'm Sharonda Grant, a police sergeant with the Milwaukee Police Department. I'm the public information officer and I also oversee the Office of Public Relations. The Milwaukee Police Department recognizes that transparency facilitates increased trust between law enforcement officers and the community that we serve. In order to maintain that transparency, we are providing the community with a briefing that discusses the May 7th, 2019 officer-involved shooting that occurred on the 700 block of West Winlake Avenue, which is located in the city of Milwaukee. This community briefing is intended to provide you, our community, with relevant video footage, audio recordings, photographs, and other evidence regarding this incident based upon our understanding of the investigation at this time. Pursuant to Wisconsin state law, every death involving a police officer is investigated by an outside and independent law enforcement agency. Therefore, the Waukesha Police Department is the law enforcement agency that's investigating this incident. The Waukesha Police Department has informed us that their understanding of this incident may change as forensic tests are completed, evidence is analyzed, and additional interviews are conducted. Please keep in mind there are often several hours of video, audio, and other electronic evidence, along with hundreds of pages of reports that must be reviewed. Nonetheless, the Milwaukee Police Department wanted to brief our community regarding this incident up to this point. This community briefing was not created to embarrass any of the individuals or officers involved. For privacy purposes, we have concealed the identity of the citizens captured in this video. The images and information you are about to see are disturbing. When a police officer uses force to arrest a subject or defend against an attack, it can be graphic and difficult to watch. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, I'm Tom Casper, Captain of the Homicide Division of the Milwaukee Police Department. In this community briefing, I'm going to give you a brief overview of a fatal officer-involved shooting that occurred on May 7th, 2019 on the south side of Milwaukee within Police District Number 2 in the 700 block of West Winlake Avenue. In this incident, the Milwaukee Police Department received credible information from multiple sources that a homicide suspect, Victor Cintron, was in the area of the 700 block of West Maple Street. Cintron was wanted for a homicide which occurred on May 3rd, 2019 at 2650 West Forest Home Avenue. That case had been reviewed by the District Attorney's Office, and on May 6th, a warrant was issued for homicide. On the morning of May 7th, a citizen called 911 to report a sighting of a homicide suspect near South 7th Street and West Maple Street. This call was received approximately 40 minutes prior to the shooting. The citizen stated he was aware Victor Cintron was wanted for a homicide and provided a clothing description for him. Here is the first part of that call.
Milwaukee Police Department 18, how may I help you?
I got some COVID tip that I got.
Okay, for?
The guy that did the homicide on 27th and Hayes.
When did that occur?
The homicide?
Mm-hmm.
A couple days ago, but Hayes just I know he's still wanted. And then he's seen at 7th and Maple, wearing camouflage pants and a hoodie.
Okay, camo plant, like the dark green?
Correct.
So dark green, camo pants.
Mm-hmm.
And what color hoodie?
Black.
Black hoodie. And
Yeah.
the race of this person, black, white, Hispanic, male?
Latino, Hispanic.
Do you know his name?
The news is Victor Cintron.
The officers involved in the shooting were assigned to the Special Investigations Division. One of the duties of that division is to assist in locating and arresting wanted subjects. Officers will often conduct surveillance to verify information that they receive. The observations that are made aid the officers in formulating a plan to arrest wanted subjects while at the same time minimizing the danger to the general public. On May 7th, 3 Milwaukee police officers were in an undercover vehicle that was legally parked in the city parking lot at 716 West Winlake Avenue. All of the windows on the vehicle had dark tint to conceal the officers as they conducted surveillance. The officers had been parked in the lot for approximately 20 minutes when they observed a male subject walk into the parking lot and approach a parked vehicle near theirs. The male subject opened the trunk, changed footwear, and then came up to the undercover vehicle. The male was attempting to see into the officer's vehicle but it appeared due to the dark tint he was unable. As the first male subject was walking out of the parking lot, he was met by a second male subject. The second male subject was wearing a hooded sweatshirt and had a scarf covering the lower half of his face. The second male walked quickly and directly towards the driver's side of the undercover vehicle. As the second male neared the undercover vehicle, he removed a black pistol from his front waistband. As the second male began to point his pistol at the undercover vehicle, two of the officers inside of the vehicle fired their duty weapons at the male subject. The male subject was struck multiple times and fell to the ground near the vehicle. The officers exited their vehicle, called for assistance, and medical aid was provided. The first male subject attempted to flee on foot, but was apprehended nearby. The Milwaukee Fire Department responded to the scene and transported the male subject who was shot to a local hospital where he was pronounced dead. None of the officers were injured during this incident. Recovered from the scene was the male subject's gun, which was a fully loaded .40 caliber Glock pistol. The three officers were all wearing plain clothes. One of the three officers had a body-worn camera, but was not recording while the officers were conducting surveillance. An officer's body-worn camera does not record continuously during their shift, but is activated and deactivated depending on the officer's duties. An officer is permitted to deactivate his or her body-worn camera during non-enforcement duties. Conducting traffic control, standing by for a tow truck, and conducting surveillance are examples of non-enforcement duties. The officer did have the presence of mind to activate his body-worn camera immediately following the shooting. The video shows a male subject lying next to the undercover vehicle. His hood was up and his face was still covered with a mask or scarf, and his black handgun was near his body. When watching the video from the body-worn camera, you will notice there is no sound for the first 30 seconds. When a camera is turned on, the system retrieves what the camera saw in the 30 seconds prior to being activated. The time the sound begins in the video is the moment the officer activated his or her camera.
Do me a favor. Just pull your head. When you want to go grab my truck, it's a silver one parked out front.
Go get it. I'll stay here.
You're good.
Fuck! Nine 463. Do we have medical coming?
Even though the body camera footage in this case is limited and did not capture the shooting, in being transparent, we wanted to include it in this presentation. This incident was captured by a surveillance camera which was affixed to a residence in the 700 block of West Maple Street. At the beginning of the video, two subjects wearing all dark clothing can be seen approaching the driver's side of a vehicle. One subject then falls to the ground, and the second subject attempts to flee on foot, falling in front of the camera before being taken into custody. The motive for the deceased subject to approach a vehicle occupied by 3 law enforcement officers with his face concealed while armed with a firearm is not known. Interviews with the second male who was arrested at the scene failed to provide an answer to that question. This incident was investigated by the Milwaukee Area Investigative Team, and based on state law, the investigation was conducted by an outside agency, the Waukesha Police Department. A review of this incident is ongoing, and this case will be presented to the Milwaukee County District Attorney's Office for review. Since this incident took place, Victor Cintron was located and arrested on May 20th in Madera, California. He is currently in custody at the Criminal Justice Facility awaiting trial.
The Waukesha Police Department will continue to investigate and analyze this incident as witnesses are located, interviewed, and other forensic tests are completed. The Milwaukee Police Department's Internal Affairs Division is also evaluating the evidence to determine whether the officers followed their training accordingly and that the use of force met the high expectations set for our agency.